The City of Bristol, providing beautiful parks, economic development, and a family-friendly community.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to begin with our joint meeting of the City Council and Board of Finance. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the members of the joint board please introduce themselves, starting on my far left?
Dave Mills, City Council.
Cheryl Tebow, Board of Finance.
Jay Carrier, Board of Finance.
Dave Perleski, City Council.
John Smith, Board of Finance.
Mary Fortier, City Council.
Greg Hahn, City Council.
Ron Burns, Board of Finance.
Nick Jones, Board of Finance.
Marie O'Brien, Board of Finance.
Mike Lamont, Board of Finance.
Thank you. The first item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular joint meetings on May 20th, which was budget adoption, and June 11th.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2 is our consent calendar, and we have 5 items. Does anybody wish to remove any of the items from the consent calendar for further discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Move approval. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3 is to transfer $55,000 from communications equipment to the operating transfers out special revenue.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4 is to make an additional appropriation of $55,000 within the Equipment Building Sinking Fund for the purchase of a prisoner transport vehicle.
Move approval.
Patty Bunyan.
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5 is to transfer $6,000 from the general fund contingency account to community services for the relocation line item. And for those of you who were not here, we had a relocation and eviction through code enforcement pop up at the end of June, and this is going to carry them through for that end of that fiscal year.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6 is to approve the resolution appropriating $400,000 for the acquisition of land for relocation of Engine Company Number 3, and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Move approval.
Discussion? I'd just like to state
Is that St. Matthew?
that there is no land that's been identified. This is part of the strategic planning process that the fire department is going through, in recognition that Engine 3 is the next firehouse that is in need of work. So this appropriation is going to cover any of that due diligence that they'll be doing over the course of the next fiscal year, which may include plans, studies, or any types of potential acquisition if something is found. But at this point, it's still nebulous and nothing is determined. Is this a resolution? Yeah. Okay. So roll call vote, starting on my far right.
Yes.
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 The chair votes yes. Item 7 is to approve the resolution authorizing issuance of bonds or notes in the amount of $400,000 to finance the appropriation for the acquisition of land for relocation of Engine Company Number 3, and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, starting on my far right.
Yes.
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 Chair votes yes. Item 8 is to approve the resolution appropriating $100,000 for a study on the installation of a citywide fiber network, and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Move to approval.
Second.
Discussion. Again, for clarification, we have spent no dollars on this, nor are there any planned at this point. Our IT director is going to a conference next month, at which point he will again be gathering information, and there may or may not be a reason to do a study based on what's happening in the field. Roll call vote, starting on my far left.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No. Yes.
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 No.
Yes.
Yes.
The chair votes yes, motion carries. Item 9 is to approve the resolution authorizing issuance of bonds or notes in the amount of $100,000 for a study on the installation of a citywide fiber network and to waive the reading of the resolution, but to include it as part of the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, a roll call vote starting on my far left.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No. Yes.
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 No.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion carries. Ooh. Item 10, to adopt in a single motion the resolutions attached making appropriations and authorizing borrowings for the following capital projects: Northeast Middle School ceiling tile replacement, school district technology upgrades, development of a city parks master plan, Page Park maintenance area improvements projects, fire headquarters renovation project, rehabilitation of the Pequabic River conduit, replacement of the Lake Avenue culvert, design of the replacement of the Jerome Avenue Bridge, and the main library lighting conversion, and to waive the reading of the resolutions, but to include them as part of the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, a roll call vote starting on my far right.
Yes.
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 And the chair votes yes. Motion carries. The next item on our agenda is the monthly revenue and expense report presentation by our controller. And just as a note, there was an addenda added to the joint board for those of you who may not have seen it, and we'll come back and continue with that.
Good evening, everyone. So it's July 9th, and we just are starting to close the fiscal year for last year. What you have in your packet was actually the report was run last week, so there was a little bit more of an updated information I have on that, especially as it goes as far as expenditures are concerned. But let me talk about revenues. As I've been reporting, our tax revenues, particularly with the supplemental motor vehicle tax, has been coming in a lot more than we had anticipated for budget. Right now, we are at 0.9 million over in the supplemental motor vehicle tax, and I think that's very good. Our building permit revenue right now is at $374,000 over budget. Our conveyance tax revenue right now is $120,000 over budget, and our investment earnings has earned $1.37 million. We budgeted $508,000. We still have year-end accruals to do, and this is through May, so I know we have one more month to post for investment income. One thing that I do want to talk about that I think this is the first time I'm talking about it is the sale of property and equipment. Right now, that line item has generated over $230,000 more than we had anticipated. So just to give you an idea of the type of items that is, it's sale of surplus property that the city gets rid of or disposes of. It is done primarily all through auction, just so you know that there is a competitive bidding process for that. But just a couple of the big items that we did sell. We recently sold the sale of the Python asphalt machine. The city's share of that was $48,000 of that sale. I think it was $79,000 in total. We had some property sales, $36,900 for 64 Lawndale, and then there was another one on Pine Street for $40,000. The rest of it is all vehicles and trucks. So there's about $21,000, $29,000, and another $40,000 in sale of trucks. So I think, you know, our purchasing agent, Roger Russo, is very aggressive in selling these and getting these on the government auction site. So I think that was something different that I wanted to report on tonight. So I thought that was very positive. In looking at the rest of the revenues, there are two items that we do not yet have. The school readiness grant, we accrue that at the end of the year. That's around $240,000. And we have not yet received our final payment on the Pequot grant. That's $133,000. So all that being said, our revenues are coming in well. And once we have all the accruals in, it will help, because on the expenditure side, it's going to be tight, primarily because we have to make up that $800,000 for the Board of Ed that they're anticipating, that they will be needing. And as I did speak with the business manager last week when I was putting this report together, and right now that's still what they're sticking with is the 800,000. Of course, they're still going through their closeout and everything as well, so that number could change and hopefully will get better. On the report, looking at the available budget, I just ran one before I came down here. We have about 1.7 million on the city side available. However, we have not yet had all of our accruals done yet. We still have to do our payroll accruals and any other payable accruals. Just a reminder, the equipment building sinking fund are funds that we're going to have to carry over in a reserve into the equipment building sinking fund. That's $700,000 roughly. And then there are some carryovers that will be recommended. So all told, I think we'll have a revenue over expenditure small surplus at the end of the year. So that's kind of what I'm anticipating. I definitely will have a better number for you in August to report. And then the Board of Finance will have the transfers at their August meeting, which will be here in September, I guess, at the joint board. And there is $867,000 still left in contingency, so that will help as well with the Board of Ed over expenditure. Any questions on anything? Wow, I covered everything? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go now to the addenda item to transfer $18,000 from the general fund contingency account for the professional services relative to brownfield properties for 273 Riverside Avenue. This was the subject of our earlier special Board of Finance meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And item 2 on our addenda is to make an additional appropriation of $18,000 within the Capital Projects Fund.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item is adjournment.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Proleski, seconded by Councilman Hahn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The council meeting will begin in approximately 3 minutes. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of the City Council for the month of July. I'd like to ask those in attendance to stand and join us in our opening ceremonies, which includes the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the members of the City Council please introduce themselves, starting on my far left?
Scott Rosado, District 1.
Dave Mills, District 3.
Dave Perleski, District 2.
Mary Fortier, District 3.
Greg Hahn, District 1.
And I'm Mayor Ellen Zappo-Sassu. Councilman Peter Kelly is ill and will not be joining us tonight. Our moment of reflection is for everyone to just take a moment and think about all of our high school and college graduates from Bristol who are embarking on the next chapter, and hopefully that will mean good things for our community and for all of these young people as well. Thank you. First item on our agenda is the approval of our minutes of the regular City Council meeting on June 11th, 2019, the special meetings on June 3rd, 2019, and June 18th, 2019, and the public hearing that was held on June 18th, 2019 for charter revision.
So moved.
Second.
Clarification or questions on any of the minutes as presented? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. For public participation tonight, our nonprofit spotlight is the Bristol Adult Resource Center, and we have with us Mary Etter, their executive director, to give us a little information about what's happening.
Thank you very much, Mayor, for the opportunity to address the City Council. My name is Mary Etter, and it's my pleasure to serve as the executive director of the Bristol Adult Resource Center, otherwise known as BARC. BARC has been a part of the Bristol community for 62 years, since 1957. The establishment of BARC was a part of a grassroots movement across the United States. Parents had been advised by medical professionals to bring their children with intellectual and developmental disabilities to institutions. But they didn't want to forget about their children. They wanted them to be part of the community. So agencies like BARC were founded by parents so that there would be programs for these children in the community. BARC has grown since then. We support 150 adults in our day programs and 38 in our residential programs. We have 11 homes right here in Bristol. I'm sure that you drive by some of them every day and you don't even realize that they're BARC homes. 2 of our homes have 6 residents, 8 have 3 residents, and 1 house has 2 residents. We have 2 day program sites here in Bristol. One is on Jerome Avenue, and that building also houses our restaurant, the Hidden Cafe, and our greenhouse, Jerome Gardens. Our restaurant is open 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday, and I like to say that those who know about it love it, and those who don't love it don't know about it. Our other site is on Lake Avenue in the former Masonic Temple. This site focuses on non-vocational services, and we also provide nursing care for the individuals there. Approximately 50% of the individuals who attend our day programs live at home with their families. Others live in BARC-run homes, and still others live in homes run by other organizations. BARC also supports individuals who work out in the community. Some people are employed competitively. We have someone who has been over at Bristol Hospital for over 30 years. Others work as part of job crews at local stores and apartment complexes. BARC employs over 200 staff. The majority of our staff members are from Bristol and surrounding towns, but some do come from as far away as northern Connecticut or southern Massachusetts. Our funding comes from the state of Connecticut's Department of Developmental Services. We also receive money from the United Way of West Central Connecticut for our volunteer recreation and respite programs, and from local foundations such as the Main Street Community Foundation, Farmington Bank Community Foundation, and Thomaston Savings Bank Foundation for special projects. We also receive private and corporate donations as well. I would like to extend an invitation for all of you to come see us. My office is at the Jerome Avenue location. If you're in the area, maybe looking for an amazing lunch, I would be very happy to give you a tour. Also, as a side note, I'm serving as the current president of the Bristol Rotary Club, and I'm very much looking forward to serving Bristol in this volunteer capacity as well. And thank you again for the opportunity to address the council.
Thank you, Mary, and thank the Rotary Club for the hundreds of thousands of donations and scholarships that they've given, specifically to all of the kids that are seeking higher education. I think it's amazing that that amount of money is circulated into the community.
It absolutely is.
And we have now, again, contracted with your lawn care crews for some of our code enforcement programs, something that had gone away for a while, and they're doing a great job.
Great. I'm glad to hear it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The second person on for public participation tonight is Tim Gamache to speak about Memorial Day and the salute dinner.
Tim Gamache, 1389 Stafford Avenue. Madam Mayor, City Council members, I'm just here to express on behalf of the Bristol Veterans Council our appreciation for your office assistance, along with your administrative assistant, Ms. Savino, and Dawn Nielsen, who did a Herculean job, if you will, in helping us put together a much enhanced Bristol Memorial Day procession. I just felt as though I needed to come here and express that in public. And the second thing I would like to do is to thank our legislative delegation for assisting us once again. They've done this every year at the salute dinner by providing citations from the General Assembly for each one of these young men and women who have chosen to enter our armed forces. That's a big deal. It's nice to have that hanging on your wall. So I just wanted to commend them for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Wait till you hear what we have in store for Veterans Day.
You're going to be excited.
It's very exciting. Is there any member of the public who did either not see the sign-up sheet or has now thought of something they'd like to address the council with for public participation? Please feel free to come to the front of the room. Okay, we'll be moving on to announcements, and we'll start with Councilman Rosado.
I don't have any.
None.
None.
I have one, Your Honor. I do want to mention something that I've brought up in the past, and it is crucial in the summer months, is giving blood or platelets if you're able to. The Red Cross has some serious shortages at this time of year, so I just want to remind people if you're eligible and you can fit that into your summer schedule, it's very much appreciated. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilman Hahn.
Yes, I have one, Your Honor. Bristol is part of a regional effort, regional event for household hazardous waste and paint collection. This is going to take place on Saturday, July 13th, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And our location is at the Wolcott Recycling Center, 48 Todd Road in Wolcott. They're going to be taking household hazardous waste, and there's a limit of 50 pounds of waste per car. And then also from the paint collection, nothing larger than 5 gallons will not be accepted. All the things that are accepted and what you can't bring are listed on the mayor's Facebook page and also on Public Works Facebook page and website.
Okay. So this is part of our regional cooperation and being partners with the Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments. So this collection rotates amongst the towns, but it is in Wolcott this time, which is very close to Bristol, so we definitely want to promote it for those that have a need. And Ray, are we doing our own in the fall? We're
still coordinating with the RFOC, but we're scheduled for one Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Okay, so there will be a local opportunity as well, but Wolcott's very convenient for those that need it. Okay, is that it for announcements? Okay, moving on to item 5, our consent calendar. We have items A through J. Do any members of the council wish to pull any items off for further discussion or clarification? If not, is there a motion?
Move to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving to item 6, we're going to start with, well, Councilman Pulaski.
Your Honor, I'd like to withdraw agenda item 6A for further discussion.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to, do you have any other reports for real estate?
No, thank you.
Okay, so moving on to Salary Committee, 6B.
To approve changes to insurance cost share rates for non-bargaining employees. I just want to make sure. Including elected officials as presented effective July 1st, 2019, and to refer to the Board of Finance for informational purposes. And I do want to just add that this is a slight increase to the health insurance premium share for our non-bargaining employees. This percentage mirrors the percentage for the BPSA bargaining group.
Are there any questions? Is there a second?
Second.
First. Okay, now any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to 6C, which is an update regarding the Memorial Boulevard Arts Magnet School.
Thank you, Mayor. The committee continues to meet every 2 weeks. The programming and staff functions committees are making progress, and they continue to meet with the architects. The hazmat survey for the entire building is substantially completed, as is the schematic design. So we'll be seeing more of that in the next month or so. Tonight, as part of the consent agenda, we've approved a contract for a third-party building code compliance company called Friars Associates. They'll be making sure that the building's design meets compliance both in state and local levels of the regulations, and it really helps our building department as it sorts through the building plans going forward. And also, if I may, Your Honor, there's an agenda item coming up, number 12, which talks about Section 8-24, which is a Connecticut general statute section that requires a review whenever there's an enhancement to a building or a land acquisition, that the municipality first sends it to its planning commission to see if the city needs the proposed properties. In this case, we are sending this to council tonight so that all of the improvements to the building is get under that 8-24 review. We were going to do it, Your Honor, during the, if we had a land acquisition, but we decided to do it now because it'll enhance and help us through the planning commission in a municipal board process. So we're recommending that later on to the council. And the next meeting will be held this Thursday at 6:30 at the Board of Education, and look towards the city websites, the Board of Education websites, and the building committee websites if you have any need for any more detail. Thank you. That's it, Your Honor.
Through the chair, somebody just asked Dave a question. Talking about the websites, is the plan on the website?
I think it is.
I just want to make sure, and then which website, all of them?
Both of them.
Oh, both.
Just for the public's information, that's all. Thank you.
And through the chair, the Fryer Architecture Company, are they going to be assisting with ADA compliance as well for the plans? Yes. Thank you.
Any further questions on the Memorial Boulevard? Okay. Update from the Mayor's Opioid Task Force. Today was a very busy day. We started filming the public service announcements at Bristol Hospital using some of their staff as well as some of our community members who have suffered a loss or they themselves have recovered from an addiction. My administrative assistant oversaw that today, and she reports that the filming was phenomenal and that people were very heartfelt in their involvement with this opioid crisis and really the role that the city can play. So we're looking forward to finishing that up sometime in August and having those PSAs out there for people in the fall. They are important, especially for, in this digital format, that we're going to be able to link them to other websites. And the Bristol Hospital has already asked for permission to use them because they were so impressed with everything that happened today. So we are looking forward to that, and we are continuing with some of our pillars that include recovery, information and access. We've done the second printing of the brochures that are in the medical bags by first responders. And we are also really looking at some of the legislative processes in terms of insurance and access for services, which is really important for families as well. In terms of other committee reports, we'll start on my far right with Councilman Hahn.
Just a couple small items on the Arts and Culture Commission. We're working with the Mum Festival Committee most recently on getting a Grand Marshal committed to the festivities in September. I know that there's going to be an announcement next week in the Bristol Press about that, but we're working with them there. Also, they have several events between now and September, and what they're doing is they're raising money so they can make the Mum Festival a better event. So I encourage everybody to, if it's their thing, for instance, the Cigars Under the Stars on August 10th is a fundraiser for the Mum Festival. And if that's your thing, it would be great to support that and help earn money for a better Mum Festival. Another thing the Arts Council is working on is in the next 30 days. If you remember, there was an effort at one time to paint the electrical boxes in town, and if you go around town, you'll see different images on the electrical boxes. Well, downtown, with everything going on in the development, the Arts and Culture Commission has decided to do something a little different to the electrical boxes here downtown. And they're going to reflect the history of Bristol, and those will be unveiled in the next 30 days. Hopefully we'll have those out at the beginning of August. Those are just some of the things to look forward to. The other project that they're actively working on downtown is a mural, a wall mural on the exterior of one of the buildings next to Webster Bank, and there'll be more on that in the near future as well, but that will be kicking off soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Fortier.
None for me, thank you.
Thank you.
None? I have some. for the police board, I'd like to commend the Bristol Police Department on their support and involvement in our community youth. Officers have been engaging in activities such as the Roberto Clemente League, which plays every Monday at the Cambridge Park baseball field. They've been volunteering at various camps like Camp Current, as well as sending 3 local youths to the Channel 3 Kids Camp in Andover, Connecticut at the end of July. We'd like to welcome and congratulate our new K-9 officer, Mark McGrain, and K-9 Hunter, who have graduated police K-9 school and have been assigned to the patrol division. Our Parks Board has been doing an amazing job with events for the community. Some reminders and announcements are as follows. Remember that the summer concerts at Rockwell Park are every Tuesday from 7 to 8:30. Rain date will be Wednesday. Please visit www.bristolrec.com for a complete lineup. On July 11th at 5:30, there'll be a soft opening for the Rockwell Park mountain bike trails. Feel free to bring your bikes and test the course out. The official opening will be slated for later this summer. On 7/27 at 10 a.m., volunteers will meet at Rockwell Amphitheater to be part of the Bristol Green Team. This is a new initiative, and teams will meet the last Saturday of the months from July to November to compete in keeping our park clean. As an initiative-friendly competition, and exciting prizes will be given to the top teams. On August 9th, from 6 to 9, Neon Nights will take place at the Rockwell Pool. There'll be a DJ and light show. Admission is $5 per person. And we'd like to take a moment to acknowledge James Ciccio on his upcoming retirement August 1st. He currently serves as a group leader in the Parks Department. While being valued by supervisors, colleagues, and community at large, he'll be missed, and the department wishes him well on his retirement. The Commission on Aging has begun distribution of farmer market coupons for eligible residents. Please contact the Senior Center weekdays between 8:30 a.m. and 5 p.m. The number's 860-584-7895 for further details. This will also give you an opportunity, if you haven't yet done so, to visit our farmers market on Saturday mornings from 10 to 1. The Bristol Senior Center will also hold their second summer concert on July 28th, rain or shine, from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Senior Center. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on to unfinished business, I did have a downtown update listed, and I have 3 quick items. I did receive an email from the state of Connecticut this week that the GA17 court closing is on schedule, and so we will be having that property and that lease revert back to us in early September. We, Justin Malley and I also took a walk today over to the Armory, and we're amazed at its transformation. It's going to be called the Bristol Sports Armory, and they are hoping to open in October. And so that's going to be a great addition to downtown as well, especially with all of the parking that's behind it, and its close proximity to the Boys and Girls Club for some joint ventures for some of the tournaments that come in that are very lucrative and bring a lot of economic spillover. And we are very hopeful that the Better Half Brewery will be successful with the final piece of their licensing within the next 10 days, and that they will be open as well. So that's going well. Does anybody have any unfinished business that they'd like to bring onto the table? No. Okay. Hearing none. Under new business, I did list state legislative update. Our office was tracking several pieces of legislation, and I want to highlight just a couple that are important for what we're trying to do. The first one, which I thought was very innovative, was the Municipal Regional Development Authority creation, which is enabling legislation that's going to assist municipalities in procuring funding for local economic development projects. However, it set a benchmark for 70,000 population, but they're allowing communities to work together. So we've done outreach to the town of Plainville to see if they would like to work with us, especially in light of the fact that we share a busway and that there's some other things that we're already working on with them. So that was something that we jumped on right away after the session ended. Tomorrow, I'm traveling to Waterbury to witness the signing of the PTSD bill for first responders. That's going to take place at the Waterbury City Hall with Governor Lamont and Mayor O'Leary. Mayor O'Leary and I were part of the working group that wrote that legislation and proposed it. So we're excited to see that come to fruition. It's been a multi-year item that's been negotiated. And this year, all players sat down, including CCM, so that there are protections for municipalities from a cost control standpoint, but also really good protections for our employees that we hope will never have to use them. We also monitored the early childhood educator compensation. There's a lot of turnover in that field, and so that's something that's going to help our school readiness program. We obviously thought that the debt-free community college bill was fantastic because of our proximity to several of the community colleges, and our efforts continue with our issues with Public Works, recycling, and the fees that we're paying. So if any of you saw, there was an article actually on the front page of the Hartford Current today that talked about the impact to municipalities. We had started to put in place a whole bunch of protections to reduce, reuse, and recycle, with heavy emphasis on reduction and reusing as opposed to recycling, because now we're paying for that. And for those of you who did attend the first two farmers markets, we had our Trash to Treasure program there. That's going to return on, I think, August 10th, where we're actually diverting items that come into the transfer station that are in good condition. We're putting them in a storage container. That container is being brought to the farmers market, opened, and Bristol residents are allowed to take all of that furniture for free, whatever they can use. We pay about $66 per ton for items to be incinerated, and now we're going to be paying almost $75 for recyclable items to be taken out of Bristol, when previously we'd received a credit. So that's something that we're looking at. Obviously, the plastic ban was something we were looking at locally. We now don't have to do that because of the state legislation. And our Energy Commission and Councilman Hahn are looking at the creation of a green bank. That was also enabling legislation that came down from the legislature this year. That's going to help pay for energy efficiency projects. So all of that is, I think, we're going to see some bounce from that in terms of this year. On the education side, we also monitored the minimum budget requirement for local public education. That's been expanded, which is a good thing. And there was a bill 7424, I think, which is going to allow the Board of Education to put away up to 2% of their total budget for cost overruns. So in Bristol, since we've had that as a significant issue, that will allow them to have a little bit more of a planning for that. And the last one was something that we are working on almost every day with the Board of Education and the Bristol Development Authority, and it was House Bill 5833, which establishes a pilot program for advanced manufacturing certificate programs. We're way ahead of the curve on that in terms of planning and providing students with these opportunities, but this actually gives them an even clearer pathway in terms of community colleges and higher education. So it actually took all of the best practices that we're seeing around the state, including the Advanced Manufacturing Center that's coming to Tunxus, and put it into state law. So those are all good pieces that I'd prefer to concentrate on. We did maintain funding from the state, so we have no complaints there either. Does anybody have any questions in terms of state impact? Okay. Then I will now turn our agenda over to our town and city clerk for our resignations.
And we have two resignations, Your Honor. The first is from Mary Ellen Holden from the Board of Park Commissioners, and the second is from Tina Marie Taylor from the Board of Education.
Is there a motion to accept, place on file, and send letters of thanks?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Tonight's appointments, we only have a few. The first is to reappoint Ronald Smith, our former Public Works Director, for a 3-year term through July of 2022 to the Stormwater Trust.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next one is to reappoint William Viets to a 5-year term through July 31st, 2024 to the Planning Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next is to reappoint David Perleski for 1 month as acting mayor so he can finish police negotiations,
Hopefully.
hopefully, through August of 2019.
So
That
moved.
is a mayor's appointment. To reappoint Dr. Leslie Kish for a 3-year term to July of 2022 for the Bristol-Burlington District Board of Health.
Move to approve?
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And late breaking news this afternoon to appoint Malcolm Huckabee to replace Mary Ellen Holden, who resigned for the Board of Park Commissioners, an unexpired term to December of 2021.
Move to approve?
Second.
Discussion?
Want to talk about his resume, Mayor? He's,
You can.
I don't know very well.
Oh, so.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but he's...
Well, he is basketball standout from Bristol Central. He went on to play for Boston College. He is in financial investments, but is also an NBA color analyst for ESPN. He and his wife currently relocated back to Bristol with their children who attend Green Hills, and he's very excited and has some great ideas about his hometown.
Excellent.
Yeah, this is a great appointment for Bristol. So that's Malcolm, for those of you who may not know him, and I think I need a second.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And in recognition of Tina Taylor's resignation from the Board of Education, it is a mayoral appointment to replace, because we are within this short span to the next election. Tina had chosen to not seek re-election and had recently, I think this morning, accepted a position with West Bristol. So her commitment to Bristol's kids is going to continue, but in the role as a teacher. She has been a phenomenal advocate for children in our city. And so I congratulate her on that, because Bristol wins in that situation. And in order to have the board at full capacity from now through November, I'm going to appoint Morris Patton to replace Tina Taylor for the balance of that term. Morris, or Rippy, as he is known, is with us today. So can you just stand and be recognized? Okay. So in deference to his mother, who is not with us tonight, we will be swearing him in tomorrow at noon. Hopefully someone from the clerk's office is available, so his family can be part of that. And any other members of the many committees that you've already served on are welcome to join us as well. If available, we'll probably do it here in council chambers. So congratulations.
Mayor, I'm not positive, but I think it does need council
Yes.
vote.
So
Okay.
was there a second?
Second.
Okay. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That is it for appointments. Great.
Okay. To schedule a city council public hearing on August 13th, 2019, to receive public input on the City and Town Development Act.
Okay.
So moved.
Second?
Does everybody understand what this is? We do it every 5 years so that we can use the tools available to us from an economic development standpoint. Justin is here if anybody has any questions, and I'm sure he'd be happy to answer them. But the attachment to the agenda was pretty self-explanatory. Okay. Did we have a motion?
Yes.
And we did. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 12, to make a referral to the Planning Commission regarding the substantial improvements and proposed property acquisition at the Memorial Boulevard School, subject to the requirements set forth within Connecticut General Statutes, Section 8-24.
Move to approve?
Second.
Discussion. I think it would be just an interesting part of history for those of you who may not remember, 5 or 6 years ago, when the Board of Ed sent all the schools back to the city. And all of them went to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission agreed to sell Jennings and Bingham and O'Connell. Green Hills was being demolished, but they did not agree for the release of Memorial Boulevard, because the Planning Commission at that time said it was a significant building that needed to remain in the city's inventory. And here we are, a few years later, doing the substantial renovations. So it's nice to see this project come full circle and continue to make progress. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 13, authorization for town clerk to prepare explanatory text with approval from Corporation Counsel and approval of questions to be placed on the November 5th, 2019 ballot.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? I know that we are going to the police commission with the items relevant to them at their meeting next week. If anybody else feels that it would be appropriate to have this as a discussion item on any of the committees or commissions that you serve as liaison to or as voting members to, let us know and we can have that sent over. I think it's important, especially for the boards that are affected, that they understand what the language is so that they can communicate it out to the public as well.
I do think the water board would be interested in the sewer and water items.
Okay, we can do that. That's the same night, right? Tuesday night?
I believe so.
Okay.
And Mayor, just so everyone is aware, on the city's website, the draft is available. The draft became the final report at your June 18th meeting, so it hasn't changed. There is no actual final report. The draft report is the final report.
So in terms of constituent response as well, you could always send them that link if anybody asks you about it, and then they would have the full report. Okay. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 14, approval to enter into and mayor to execute memorandum of understanding with the town of Plainville regarding the sharing of building official services.
Okay. So we are doing this again. I did send this out earlier today, and when I finished revising it, but if any of you, did I send this to you, Therese?
You might have, no, I haven't gotten the attachment yet.
All right, so what we did with the memorandum of understanding by and between the city of Bristol and the town of Plainville, it's the same agreement, except we increased the hours for up to 16 hours because we found that there were several weeks, especially in the busy season, that we were exceeding 12. So now we have the flexibility to go up to 16. And we updated the rates as they appear in the MOU to reflect the July 1st, 2019 salary schedules for the union. So we also are including payroll taxes, which we didn't do last time. We had to update the contact because Guy Moran will be retiring, so we updated that to reflect Thomas Lozier. And we deleted section 11 where it noted that the agreement started late last year. And this now will say that it starts on July 1st, 2019. So I have one copy that I can pass around if anybody wants to look at it, but eventually it needs to go to the town and city clerk. Does anybody have any concerns or questions?
Move to approve?
Second.
Further discussion? I think we also, as a courtesy, will say pending approval by the town of Plainville, because I think they're meeting tonight as well. Okay, so are you willing to amend your motion?
Yes, I amend the motion.
So it'll be a motion to approve pending approval with town of Plainville as well. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. We don't have an addenda for the city council agenda, right? No. Does anybody have any other business that they'd like to discuss tonight? Or is everybody in a rush to get to the summer concert at Rockwell Park or the American Legion baseball game at Muzzy Field? A lot of options right now at 7:40.
I think this is a record, Your Honor.
That is.
Blame it on Councilman Kelly. Well, then hearing none, there's a motion to adjourn, and everybody, park departments, left shirts for everyone.
So moved.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Bristol's Farmers Market has been a staple of the Bristol community for several years. The season will begin in June and run through October. Products range from farm fresh vegetables, fruits and products from local farms, to homemade beef jerky, to baked goods, coffee, maple syrup, and other locally made treats. One of the original farm vendors, Gressick Farms, will be returning again to the Bristol Farmers Market. We recently spoke with Henry Gressick about his family's farm and his participation at Bristol's Farmers Market.
I enjoy participating in the Bristol Farmers Market because I get to connect with the end user of the products that we grow. Seeing the end user and sending them away happy with something that I grew inspires me to continue on farming with my family.
For more information on Bristol's Farmers Market, you can find us on all social media platforms and at www.bristolallheart.com.